Every year, hundreds of thousands of pets are lost or stolen, leaving behind devastated families. It doesn't have to be this way. PediMark microchips store all the information you need to get your pet home safely. No need for that sometimes stressful trip to the vet. Visit PediMark.com today and a qualified microchip implanter can visit your home to microchip your pet in comfort. Quick, easy and safe. PediMark, helping your best friend get home. PediMark, proud sponsors of Pets for Life.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Pets for Life. With around half of all of the homes in the UK owning a pet, it would seem that we are a nation of animal lovers. But are we? Pet abandonment is on the rise. Last Christmas saw a record number of animals being abandoned, and we have to ask ourselves why. We recently visited the Blue Cross to find out what they had to say. At the Blue Cross we do work closely with lots of different organisations, and we are very often working towards a common goal. You know, we want people to understand how to look after animals, we want to be in a position to help as many animals as possible. So it's important that we do work closely with other charities, other organisations like the police, local councils, and there's an awful lot more that we can do by working in collaboration with those organisations. So we do work closely with the RSPCA, and we will work to care for all the animals that we both see. So the RSPCA might be called out to rescue animals, we may then be asked to take them in. So we do work closely with them, and that's really important. And the Blue Cross also works closely with the Society for Companion Animal Studies, and that's our sister charity, and they do a lot of research into the bond between humans and animals. And that's really important because here at the Blue Cross we're not just here to look after animals, we actually do look after people, and we see the benefits that animals have for people, and that's really important. So we like to work closely with people like SCAS who help to reinforce that. One of the problems an owner will encounter is finding the time and money to care for their pets. Most pets, especially the high maintenance ones, like dogs and kittens, can't be left alone for hours on end and need regular exercise and attention. If you would have difficulty attending to a dog or a kitten, then perhaps a lower maintenance animal would be the answer. Small mammals are very popular for a first-time pet, especially for families with young children. We spoke to Supreme Pet Food to find out more.
I think you have to consider your lifestyle and the amount of time that you're going to have to devote to a pet, the amount of space you have, the amount of finances you have to devote to a pet as well. Because certainly when you're starting to look at things like rabbits, vaccinations and vet checks and things like that can mount up financially. And certainly rabbits need quite a lot of space outside. You know, you can't just keep them in a small hutch at the end of the garden. Quite a lot of small furry animals can be kept quite well inside the house as well as in the garden. And quite a lot of people have house rabbits and devote an entire room to the rabbit, or have periods during the day where the rabbits are out and supervised and the house is rabbit proof so they can't chew the wires and the computer cords and that kind of thing. And it works very, very well, just in the same way as people have house cats. And smaller pets certainly are quite easy to have within the bedroom and that kind of thing, so that they can have daily interaction with the family and the children can bond and have a closer relationship with the animal. All animals' cages should really be checked every day, and if there's a lot of mess, it needs to be cleaned up when it happens. Certainly the inside enclosures for rabbits and gerbils can be cleaned out once a week as long as there's no hideous mess in there. But the food bowls and the water bowls need to be cleaned out much more frequently than that, and certainly need to be checked every day.
Our pets are just as sensitive to a balanced diet as we are. What may seem like minor fluctuations in weight for humans could make a massive difference to your pet's well-being. Getting your pet's diet right is vital. In order to learn more about correct animal nutrition, we spoke to Crown Pet Foods.
James Wellbeloved is a pet food company based in the heart of Somerset. The company was originally established to produce a hypoallergenic for food for dogs that have either digestive intolerances or issues with skin allergies. All a hypoallergenic diet means is that the ingredients are less likely to cause intolerances or allergies. Our aim in producing a hypoallergenic diet is to use ingredients that are of superb quality. We use no artificial colours, preservatives, no cheap filling ingredients which the dogs and cats and ferrets will find difficult to digest. And by using, for example, single sources of protein and fat within one type of our food, it means that pet owners can make an informed choice about which variety they feed. So, for example, we wouldn't have a variety of fish food that contains turkey oil, because if a dog is intolerant to one particular ingredient, it's important that you keep that consistency of formulation. We use 4 varieties of meat protein. Turkey, because it's readily digestible. We also use lamb, which again is a hypoallergenic protein source and easy on the stomach. Duck is a fairly novel protein in pet food terms, so many animals may not have been overexposed to it. So for dogs or cats that have particular allergy issues, that's of relevance to us. And we also use fish as well, white fish. Each of the separate ingredients that we include help different aspects of the animal's functioning, whether that be cell maintenance and renewal, or a healthy gut environment, digestive transit of the food. So each particular ingredient has a significant role to play.
If you are looking to care for a smaller animal, such as a gerbil, hamster, guinea pig, ferret, or even a chinchilla, what do you need to know?
When you're keeping small furry animals, what you need to do is to have a look at what their behaviour is normally like in the wild. So, for example, things like hamsters are quite desert animals, and they do benefit from having sand, or chinchilla sand often, to bathe in and dig and burrowing. And equally, gerbils, again, very similar, they enjoy burrowing and digging. So having some kind of substrate, something within the enclosure that allows them to fulfil that natural behaviour, is always a help. Gerbils are notoriously slightly less handleable than most hamsters. They're a little bit more skittish and highly strung, and certainly possibly prone to biting. However, I think gentle, calm, consistent handling will tend to bond trust with any animal and make them more easy to handle. I mean, I think the first thing that I would say is that we shouldn't regard these pets, because they don't cost a lot to buy, as disposable. So as well as feeding costs and that kind of thing, the cost of buying a suitable enclosure or living space for the animal, you've also got the potential cost of things like veterinary fees and that type of thing. And certainly these days you can get insurance for rabbits and for guinea pigs, and some of the other small furries, specifically ferrets and that kind of thing as well, and that does help. Equally, the other thing to remember with rabbits and ferrets is that they require vaccinating, and again that's a cost every 6 to 12 months, in addition to food and other medical costs. This little guy, you can see, is very active, and what he needs is a nice big enclosure to be able to get lots of exercise. A nice little hide box like I've got on my knee. There are 2 basic types of hamster. The larger Syrian hamsters are typically kept on their own, and they're very well known for mostly being very handleable. And again, calm, consistent handling helps to tame them. And the small hamsters, the Russian dwarves and that type of thing, are usually kept in pairs or in colonies, and they have quite a strong social hierarchy, so they are best kept in groups. I think that they're quite Catholic in their taste, definitely. So a wide variety of fresh food, sensible, not too high fat, not too many nuts and seeds, some fresh food, hay, and a good quality pelleted diet will, make certain that they're nutritionally satisfied.
A lot of people get a rabbit or a guinea pig as a child's pet, and then as the child loses interest, they then hand the animal over to us, or they get left in the bottom of a garden in a hutch, in which case then they come into us as well. All of the rabbits from here are neutered before they go out, unless they are baby rabbits, in which case we do send them out with a neutering document to ensure that the owners do get them neutered when they are big enough to be neutered. Rabbits tend to prefer to be left on the floor and given attention while they're on the floor. They're much more adaptable to staying on the floor and having toys and things to play with, opposed to guinea pigs, which they don't mind being picked up and cuddled as much. They do need a lot more space than what most people think. We do have our recommended hutch sizes, and we do, if you can get as big a hutch as possible, then that's brilliant.
When we're choosing a diet for our animals, it's really important to bear in mind a number of key factors. With dogs, for example, there's such a broad spectrum of breed types or breeds, and the accompanying size, energy levels, drives and so forth. And the same premise is very much true for cats as well. Kittens are going to have higher energy needs than a mature cat, and as we all know, pet cats have very different lifestyles regardless of whether they're a home-based cat. Some will play far more readily, others are quite happy curled up on the sofa all day. So it's really important that you feed not only based on the guidelines that a pet food company produces, but that you also acknowledge your individual pet's character as well as their lifestyle, age and breed type.
You work hard to make sure you are giving them the best food for a healthy lifestyle. Growing up and learning to be responsible for their pet is a great way to help them discover the benefits of a good, balanced diet. With Supreme Science Selective, you can be confident every nugget is packed with all the nutrition Bunny needs, just like their lunchbox.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of pets are lost or stolen, leaving behind devastated families. It doesn't have to be this way. PediMark microchips store all the information you need to get your pet home safely. No need for that sometimes stressful trip to the vet. Visit PediMark.com today and a qualified microchip implanter can visit your home to microchip your pet in comfort. Quick, easy and safe. PediMark, helping your best friend get home.
Made in the heart of Somerset, James' well-beloved pet foods are the naturally healthy way to feed your pet. Every pet is different, and their food makes a big difference to their health, well-being and happiness. We love talking about pets, so if you already feed James' well-beloved, tell us your pet news. And if you'd like to find out more about our products and your feeding queries, visit us at our website. We are always happy to help.
Barney loved his owner. He thought his owner would always love him. Hungry, frightened, and alone, Barney is just one of thousands of animals taken in by the Blue Cross every year because nobody wants them. Will you give just £2 a month to the Blue Cross? Will you help save the life of a homeless animal like Barney? He relies on us now, but we rely on you. £2 a month can help us go on caring day after day until we find just the right home for Barney, however long it takes.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Okay then.
Sorry, we'll look at you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Please help. Visit our website and give £2 a month. We're counting on your support.
You work hard to make sure you are giving them the best food for a healthy lifestyle. Growing up and learning to be responsible for their pet is a great way to help them discover the benefits of a good, balanced diet. With Supreme Science Selective, you can be confident every nugget is packed with all the nutrition Bunny needs, just like their lunchbox.
In part 1, we were introduced to some small and exotic animals, and we'll be returning to meet a few more shortly. We'll also find out more about looking after the most popular pets in the UK, cats and dogs. But firstly, back to the Blue Cross.
We've got 5 baby rabbits in at the moment that are currently 16 weeks old, and they are already sexually active. They came in as part of an unwanted litter. The previous owners thought that they had 2 female rabbits, however it turned out to be a male and female that obviously produced an unwanted litter, and they ended up coming into us due to the mother rabbit having to have an emergency sort of hysterectomy. So we've hand-reared them since about a week of age. And they've all got new homes to go to as and when they'll be ready, when they're fully vaccinated. Hand rearing is really important for them. Obviously they were completely dependent on us from the moment that they came in, so obviously we did have to syringe feed them from arrival, and they are very, very bonded to people now because they've had to have that bond with us, and obviously they were completely reliant on us, so it's quite nice that when they're out in a run they will run straight over to you to sort of have that affection, so rabbits can really provide one-on-one sort of company for humans. Rabbits even as young as this at 16 weeks old are already sexually active, so it's really important of when they are an appropriate age, which is about 6 months, that they are neutered as and when ready. Rabbits are notorious for having sort of quick gestation periods, so will breed readily and very, very quickly, and it can be easy for rabbit populations to get out of control. So as soon as they reach that age, please do neuter, and that's something we definitely will encourage. Rabbits do make great house sort of companions, especially for rabbits that may not necessarily enjoy the company of other rabbits. Humans can provide that stimulation for them, but it's really important to make sure that the environment you're putting them in the home is safe and secure for rabbits, so they're not going to damage or injure themselves. And in a way they're kind of like cats because you can litter train them as well, so they are actually quite clean, unlike people think that they're not.
Okay, so we've got the 2 rabbits in here, and at the moment they're eating their pelleted food. And can you see that the pellets look all the same?
Yes.
So every pellet has the same thing in it, and that means that every mouthful is a properly balanced diet. So that's sensible, isn't it?
Yes.
And then if we look at the rest of the cage, they've got lots of grass. And what's that in there?
Hay.
Hay. Loads and loads of hay, as much hay as they can eat. And then later on they might have some vegetables as well. What else can we see? What else is important for these rabbits in this cage? It's over there.
Water.
Water. So as much water as they want to drink as well. And those are the most important things for rabbits. The specific issues with rabbits, obviously the need to provide them regularly with hay and fresh food in addition to pelleted food, and recognising that a hutch isn't enough. And so a small hutch where they're penned in all day, every day, will not be suitable accommodation. Companionship's vitally important to the rabbit, and I think that we do recommend these days that most rabbits be housed as bonded pairs. And it's quite important to remember that just because you've got 2 rabbits, it doesn't mean that those 2 rabbits will get on. So it's worthwhile having a rescue centre or somebody experienced help you with selecting the right pair of rabbits for you. And it's vital for the rabbit psychologically. And if it's not possible to have a bonded pair, then to either become the bonded partner for that rabbit or to provide a soft toy or something like that as a second choice so that it's got something to at least cling to. Right, so this is the guinea pig's hutch, and you can see that it's got lots of nice soft bedding, and this is his private hidey hole, so that if he wants to be away from everybody he can get away. He can get out of the sun and that type of thing as well. And you can see right at the front there he's got a big thing of hay, and again, just like rabbits, guinea pigs need to have plenty of hay to wear their teeth down.
And they've also got the same...
Yep, they've got the same type of food, and again it's something called a pelleted or monocomponent diet, and it means that every mouthful has the correct nutrition in it. And the very, very important thing with guinea pigs is that they have enough vitamin C. And do you know what vitamin C, what food is vitamin C in?
Fruit.
Fruits, and quite a lot of vegetables actually as well, and they can't produce it in their body, so just like humans they need to have a good source of vitamin C, and there's a good source of vitamin C in their pelleted food there. Well, certainly you can keep guinea pigs and what have you outside as long as the hutch is well insulated. You don't need to provide heat and things like that, but you have to remember that all of these small furry animals are prey species apart from the ferret. and so they can be quite intimidated kept outside if they're not well enclosed. I think guinea pigs certainly do better, at least in pairs, but they also can be kept in groups, and particularly if you have more than one male within the group, then all of the males should be preferably neutered. Otherwise you can get a bit of fighting and bullying. But I think it's important to remember that when all animals are kept in groups, you need a big enough space to do that. So space for animals to run away if they are being bullied, and hiding places that just fit one guinea pig so that they can't, they can get away from aggression if they need to.
We do get a lot of sort of chinchillas, degus and rats in, and something like this is an ideal setup, and it gives them enough room to sort of move around and climb. We wouldn't recommend anything with a wire floor because they can get what you call bumblefoot, which is something birds can be prone to when they're sat in an area for a long place, and it's sort of like hardening and thickening of the skin on the feet. So I'd recommend to sort of have a soft flooring in the cage. When chinchillas come into us, we will provide them with a dust bath, and that's sort of fine grains of sand. When chinchillas are handled, and they feel like they have a greasy coat, so really important part is to give them a dust bath so that they can get that grease off their coat by rolling around in a dust bath.
We would advise that it's preferable to avoid the use of leftovers from human meals when feeding your pets, simply because our dietary requirements are different from those of our animals, and you may find that there are key ingredients which your pets are intolerant to. Feeding dogs, for example, or cats from the table when we're having a family meal can also potentially result in undesirable behavioural issues, so snatching food from plates or begging, that type of thing. So that's an important consideration when you're raising a puppy or a kitten, that you tailor the situation appropriately so that your pet learns the appropriate behaviours around human meal times. It might be advisable with a puppy, for example, to introduce crate training, so the puppy has a safe, quiet place to be while family meals are proceeding, and that might be a time where you would introduce, for example, a treat ball, so that the puppy is occupied with dried food that's appropriate for the dog, and the puppy is occupied and enjoying themselves.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some newspaper down in the bottom of the cage, covers some of the void, and then who's going to help me put some of this in? So we've got water, we've got bedding. What else do we need? What do we need in here?
Food. Hey.
Food. What? Let them explore. Come on, sweetheart. This one, I think, is a tamer one. So do you want to have a quick stroke?
No.
He's not at all stressed by this.
Yeah, that's the wild one.
And that's the more wild one.
Yeah, that's
Sweet,
the
mate.
one.
There you go. You
Yay.
found water. I think people either love or hate rats, and I think there's no middle ground really. And there are a lot of very, very dedicated and committed rat owners, and I think rats can be very cool pets, and they're actually very interactive and good pet for children, simply because you can train them to a degree. They do become part of the family. They have very distinctive personalities, and they can be a lot of fun to own. They are a lot more active than perhaps hamsters and gerbils and that kind of thing, and they benefit from those sort of quite large enclosures that have a lot of interesting things to play in and that kind of thing. And they also like to snuggle up. You can buy little sort of fleece bags and they'll snuggle up and sleep in those. And as I say, they are quite fun animals to keep.
Diet certainly has a major impact on an animal's entire functioning, which can encompass behaviour as well. That's why we produce food that's naturally healthy, using high-grade ingredients. Certainly anecdotally and in terms of published evidence, there is a suggestion that certain behaviours, perhaps such as hyperactivity or aggression, may be linked to dietary components. So it's something that's well worth serious consideration when choosing a diet for your animal.
Certainly, one of the things that people should consider is rehoming an animal that's been donated to a rescue centre. And I think there are several reasons. Obviously, these animals need homes, and living communally in a rescue centre isn't going to provide them the individual attention that they perhaps deserve. But secondly, the rescue centres are very well placed in general to place the right animal in the right environment. So you might go in saying, I want such and such, and actually come out with something different that's better suited to your lifestyle and your abilities to care for it. And certainly with the case of animals that are kept in pairs, they're usually very experienced at, for example, bonding rabbits, so that it's not something that you need to do at home, and it's, again, beneficial for the animal and beneficial for you in the longer term.
Owning a pet is a big commitment, although recent research suggests that we don't spend enough time with our pets. Small lifestyle changes will make a huge difference. In the next episode of Pets for Life, we explore more of the issues surrounding the increase in pet abandonment and how we can all provide the best care possible for our animal companions. See you next week.